Well, hello retro computing enthusiasts. Welcome back to my channel. Mike here. Look what just arrived today. Finally, my NABU computer has arrived. Yeah, I'm a little late getting into the NABU game. There's a lot of YouTubers out there who are already playing with their NABU, and I guess it was just a matter of me ordering a couple days after some of them. After Adrian's Digital Basement came out talking about the NABU, the seller on eBay was flooded with orders and he got way behind, and it's taken weeks to get my NABU. Weeks! But, on the other hand, I've seen what a lot of other people are doing with the NABUs out there who got them early on, so I'm getting kind of a jump start in the NABU ecosystem. So, it just arrived. This is the unboxing. I haven't even opened it up yet and looked at it. And speaking of the box, I'm a little apprehensive. Couple reasons. That is mold. That whole side of that box is moldy. That's nasty. And I didn't get home until fairly late yesterday, and when they delivered this, they left it outside the back door instead of putting it on the front porch where it would be protected from the weather. And then it rained, and the box got wet. So, fortunately, it didn't get too wet. But I'll tell you what, this box looks like it's been wet in the past. It really does. That is some serious mold there. I was going to keep the box so I could box it back up again, but I don't know. That's nasty looking. I got people in the house with allergies. I'm going to have to get rid of this. But let's have a look at what we got here. It looks okay on the inside. Anyway, let's see. That's got the cables in it. Yeah, total streaming service, $29.95 a month. Yeah, except it's not available anymore. So yeah, that's got cables in it. All right. There's the keyboard. The famous NABU keyboard. And this is the first time this box has been opened since it left the factory back in what? 80-something. Let's see if there's a copyright on this book. 1983. This has been sitting in this box in a warehouse since 1983. And then the eBay seller somehow stumbled on them and got a good deal on them, I hope, because he's selling them for a pretty good deal. Alright, so there's the NABU keyboard. User's guide. Here would be the computer unit itself. And I'm sure this is probably just a normal consumer unit with no mass storage of its own. Yeah. I'll tell you what, it's in really good shape though for its age and how much moisture the box seems to have accumulated. Get this all out of here and up on the table. I'll give you a look at it. Okay, here it is in all its glory, unboxed. It's in amazing shape. It looks like it did the day it came out of the factory, I think. There's no rust, there's no dust, there's no cobwebs. It's very clean. Hopefully it works as good as it looks. So I will need to hook it up to a TV, which, boy, those are rare and scarce these days, but I do happen to have one. And make sure it actually works. I know it's just going to complain about not being connected to the network. That's probably all it's going to do. All right, if it does anything at all. But we want to give it that much of a smoke test, and then I'll, once we make sure that it works, then I'll go over what I want to do with this thing in the future, what my plans for it are, okay? So let me grab a TV, let me get everything hooked up, and we'll see what happens when I push the big red button. Well, I see what John over at John's Basement was complaining about with the power cord. It had originally had a rubber band around it. Well, that rubber band has gone rock hard and broken into a lot of pieces. So yeah, Obviously, 40 years is a bit long for a rubber band. Okay, and then we've got this keyboard cable, which is a mile long. Apparently, the idea was you'd sit on your sofa across the living room from your NABU and use it that way. So, leisurely computing back in the early 80s. Alright, so get that plugged in. Alright, let me get the TV hooked up and we'll plug the computer in and give it a try. Oh, let me tell you, it's a battle. Finding a place to plug everything in. Figure out what I can afford to unplug. Alright, so everything is plugged in. This is it. This is for all the marbles. Let me push the button and see what happens. Hey! Ooh! It sounds like the power supply fan is running. Let me feel it. Yes, there's nice airflow. Okay, good. Because I know several of the YouTubers who are working with the NABUs have problems with their power supply fans being seized up after being in storage for 40-some years. So yeah, okay, mine is working though. That's great. I could hear it. Adapter failure. That's exactly what I was expecting to happen. Hey, it works. Okay, it passed the smoke test. Even the fan is running. It works. I'm as happy as can be. I got a good deal on it. So let me tell you what my cunning plan for this is, all right? So I've been working on a couple of retro computing projects before this. The Teletext System Master and now the Jazz 80 breadboard computer. And I've written a lot of software for them. Well, firmware, you know. It executes out of an EEPROM or an EEPROM. Now, a lot of YouTubers are trying to recreate the NABU network on either a desktop computer, laptop, or like a Raspberry Pi or something, so that the NABU can think it's talking to its network and downloading all the stuff using the online storage that comes with the network. Well, I'm not going that route. At least that's not my ultimate goal anyway. I want to turn this into a standalone computer. Doesn't need to be on a network. At least not unless you want it on a network, okay? So what my plans are, I'm going to open this up and I'm going to take out the EEPROM that's in it and I'm going to install my own firmware and see if we can get this up and running as a standalone computer. That's my goal. It's going to take a while to do this, okay? Because the hardware is a lot different than what I've been dealing with the Teletext System Master or with my own Jazz 80 computer, okay? And I'll put links to like the Jazz 80 computer up here, and you can check that out if you like. It's a Z80 computer built on a breadboard that I am in the process of expanding to become a nice standalone computer. And once I get the software or the firmware for that written to a certain point, I should be able to just translate it so it works with this hardware. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm hoping anyway. And then, of course, the Teletext System Master is a similar thing, and I'll put another link up in the upper right-hand corner if you want to check that out, what I've done with the Teletext System Master. I'll put a link to the playlist for that up there, because I'm up to like 13 videos on that, I think. So yeah, that's my ultimate goal. What I want to do with this is turn it into a standalone computer, kind of like what you would get if you went to Radio Shack and bought a TRS-80, or you know, you got like an Apple II or a Commodore 64. You know, it was just, you'd hook it up to a TV and you'd be done. You didn't have to have cable. You didn't have to have network. It would have built-in BASIC. That's another thing. I'd like to have my own BASIC built in here. So that's what I'm planning. Okay, whew. All right, I was sweating bullets waiting a couple weeks for this to get here and hoping it would arrive in one piece and working. I'm very happy. I'm going to go leave the seller positive feedback, even though it took weeks to get it to me, because I know he got swamped. I understand. I've been an eBay seller, and when you get something that's, you know, so super hot that you can't move them out the door fast enough, I know what that's like. I feel for the guy. So, yeah, but man, I'm happy. I've got my NABU, and it works. It's hacking time now, let me tell you. I think before we end this video, I think I'm going to take the cover off, take a quick peek inside, and give you guys a quick peek inside. You've probably seen the inside of a NABU by now. There's a lot of videos out there, but I'll give you a peek inside at mine. So, let me move the TV off, turn everything off, power everything down, and I'll take the cover off, and we'll take a quick peek inside. This is so cool. You know, as soon as I saw this on Adrian's Digital Basement, I knew I had to have one, and I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it. And, you know, my hat's off to the guys out there who are recreating the NABU network and all of the games and software that originally came with it. Sure, that's great. And you know what? Maybe I will even go that route in the future. But I'm more of a standalone computer guy, you know, and darn it, I've got all this firmware I've written for my other retro computers. Okay. How does this come off? I've got the 4 screws out. What's holding it on? I don't want to break anything. The bezel on the front is so perfect, but it's 40 years old. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a little bit, you know, on the crusty side. Sometimes getting into these things is the hardest part, you know? What's holding it? Just age holding it? It seems to be free on this side. Like it comes straight up and off. There we go. It's a tight fit, I guess. Yeah, it's just a tight fit where it folds over and goes down behind the bezel. You don't want to force it and break anything, though. Oh, it's so super clean inside. It looks like it just came out of the factory yesterday. Well, it thinks it did. All those decades of sitting in a warehouse somewhere in Canada don't really show up. Alright, let me give you a quick look inside here. Alright, let me rearrange this so you can get a little better look at what's going on inside the NABU over here. Got power supply over here. Z80A processor here. Here's the EEPROM. This is what I'm going to be popping out and popping in my own custom firmware so I can bend this thing to my will. Sound chip up here. This is the UART for talking to the network. Printer port over here. There's another UART here for talking to the keyboard. Video chip over here. And video RAM right here. We got 16K of dynamic RAM for video right here. We got 64K of dynamic RAM for the processor over here. Got 4 expansion ports, so those are going to come in handy. I can't wait to be plugging my own hardware in there. So yeah, we've got 4 expansion ports. And well, this is just a hacker's dream right here. The potential is unlimited, absolutely unlimited. This is why every retro computer hacker on YouTube is trying to get their hands on one of these things right now and buried the eBay seller under orders because this unlimited what you can do with this. It's wide open and just ready for customizing. And I can't wait to get started on it. I'm going to bend this thing to my will. I'm going to make it do what I want it to do instead of what some Canadian cable company wanted it to do back in the 80s. And I've got ideas for this. I've got ideas. Feel free to leave a comment, leave suggestions. Tell me what you'd like to see the NABU doing, okay? Tell me what you'd like to see me implement on this wide open, unlimited platform where anything is possible. Let me know. I might not agree with your ideas, but I'd be interested in hearing them, and maybe some of them will dovetail with mine nicely. Just possibly, okay? Those ideas will start showing up in future videos, so subscribe and press that little bell icon YouTube wants you to press. You'll be notified when I release a new video on my NABU and my work I'm doing on it. And I'm Jazz 80 and Teletech System Master and other stuff too. Subscribe so you'll see those future videos. Check out my main channel, Omega Geek 64. There's amazing stuff going on over there almost every day. If I do say so myself, check it out. You'll love it. And thanks a lot for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Oh, I got my NABU. Yes.